Everybody, TNT Sports welcomes you to Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. I am joined here with my colleague Connor Meyer.
Hello.
And we are here presenting the first Auto Club race of the season and the second California race of the season. We had back-to-back weekends here on the West Coast in the Sunshine State. So now we are ready to have 38 cars take the field at this famed super speedway of the Penske Racing family. We're going to start by going through the field. Our front row contains Thor Gunnarsson, starting alongside second place qualifier Todd Castile in this AAA Auto Insurance Chevrolet.
And starting third is the number 8 of Big Man and the number 29 of Connor Meyer.
Starting behind Connor is teammate Caitlin Marine here, Taco Bell Toyota, alongside with Scott Vickers in the Pedigree Toyota.
And then we have Benjamin Thomas in the number 9 and Aaron Douglas in the 21.
Gibran in his DeWalt 12 is starting alongside Brett Pritchard in his Bang Energy 51.
Then we have Big Rick Johnson in the number 2 and Jonathan Rains in the 77.
Behind them is a previous teammate Titus Stroblaber in the 88, starting alongside Kenny Bambura in the 72 car.
In the 79 of Osborne and the number 19 of Jay Langelier.
Andrew Weisbecker in his AAA Life Insurance 00, starting alongside Chase Point's second place driver, that is Joey Sanders in the Advanced Auto Parts 36.
Number 62 of Joseph Onesto is alongside the number 55 of Russ Blackwell.
And then you have Elusive Man in the 28 Dodge, running alongside Austin Yoakum in the Big Blue Toyota.
Then the number 42 of Kyle Keith, last week's winner. And the number 95 of Quinn Izzo.
And then we have the Advocare 35 starting alongside Cresta in the 63 Ford.
And we have the number 91 of Tim Salmon and the number 60 of Ryan DeLusso.
Then we have J.R. Lemon starting alongside Anissa Johnson in the 27.
Evan Coward in the 83 and Scott Porter in the 24.
David Walsh in the 15 and Kevin Campbell in the 93.
The 22 of Brad Smith and the number 87 of Luis McClure.
Rounding out the field, we have points leader Spencer Davis and the number 30 Penske Truck Rentals Ford, and Trenton McPherson to round out the field in the Royal Purple 78. Well, it looks like we got a great field here today. Lots of nice, beautiful new paint schemes and some nice choices of what cars to bring here today. 50 laps is what we're going to see. What do you expect today, Carter?
Based off of the test races, they like to form a really big pack up front. A lot of 4 wide, 6, 7 rows deep.
Now, FARCA officials spent a lot of time at this racetrack during the preseason to perfect the car. They've almost turned Auto Club into a super speedway. It's generated nice pack racing, and it makes it very entertaining here for the fans, and a very long, frustrating 100 miles for these drivers. The pace car will now dive into pit road. Let's get ready for one hell of a race. Green flag takes the air. Thor Gunnarsson, for the third time, will lead us to the green. His teammates behind him. Lots of Toyotas to deal with. They immediately fan out.
As they're already starting to go 3, 4 wide, a couple of rows deep.
Certainly taking advantage of the way these cars can be pack raced here. You can see Caitlin pushing a man down the back straightaway, trying to use the draft as the advantage. She can dive into the corner. She is just doing that. 4 wide right there. She's holding on, all 4 of them. Big score there. That was Ben. 2 spots out of that.
As the 21's trying to push the 29 to the lead.
There's Douglas and Pierre working together. Tonka Steele, winless, working there with him before. He has not won since the original FARCA days. We're about to go 4 wide for the lead on the back straightaway.
And it's only lap 2.
Gunderson on the outside seems to be trying to take the advantage. However, Connor just able to make that car rotate. He will lead them off the corner. He will lead this lap.
And the 29 really needs a win to get into the chase here, as do almost all of these drivers.
Really need a lot of these drivers up front, especially now that we're only 5 races away. There's a lot of pressure on each driver. This race is extremely crucial to make sure you don't wreck out as much as these cars are packed. Track position is key here. The Southern Pride Racing Chevy closing in on that KFC Toyota. Scott Vickers creeping up behind him with Brett Pritchard. A lot of Toyota still up front.
And the number 1 still up front also, the pole sitter. Driving one of the few Dodges up front who's still looking for his first win this season.
That Mancone Motorsports machine sure has been doing well all season long. A little bit of trouble at the past race, but he's definitely rebounded as Brett Pritchard tandem drafts him into the corner. That was a nice big burst here, but the slingshot will be used by Pritchard as he closes in on teammate Connor, as Tonka Steele makes the move for the lead with some help from Scott Vickers.
And Big Rick Johnson in the number 2 was starting to make his way up into that lead group right there.
Yes, he's moved that Dodge up there. He's now on the outside of Brett Pritchard, looking for some help from fellow Dodge driver Aaron Douglas, who's swooping down to the bottom below Pritchard. Three wide there, going for the lead. About to be 4. Scott Vickers looking to the inside. He does not try to make the move. Castile still leads. Good move there by Thor. He just kind of moved the 29 out of the way and held his line there. He called his bluff. It did work. But he did lose a lot of momentum there. That's allowing Aaron Douglas and Caitlin to sweep in from underneath him. Caitlin with the win, Douglas winless, as well as Vickers and Tonka Steele. Both of those drivers looking for their first win.
And Thor's looking for his first win, and so is the 29. And
Thor is being extremely aggressive. He was just mirror driving the 29 and the 37. Couldn't keep both lanes there throughout the corner. I'm pretty sure Connor doesn't have some good words to say about that. He had a good run there and lost the momentum going through the midsection of the corner because of that.
Here comes another Dodge of the 88.
Titus Stroblaber, one of the 4th Mancone Motorsports cars. He is moving up fast with some help of one of the Team Motorsports cars.
He's actually got a pair of team cars behind him, the 62 and the 79.
Let's not forget one of the drivers, Kenny Pambura, he has moved up very fast throughout this field. He has brought the 36 of Doug Sanders to him as well. He entered into the top 10. And 2 of the Lubricar Motorsports Dodges of Benjamin Thomas and Tim Salmon are also sitting outside the top 10, trying to edge their way. They're 4 wide behind them. A little bit of contact with the 88 and the 21. They're door leaving the corner, but they hold on.
And a little bit behind that little group we're watching right now is sneaking up through the field is the 42 of Kyle Keith.
But the driver to keep your eye on is the driver who is probably just playing it safe right now. is the number 30, our points leader, Spencer Davis. Currently just trying to chill in the back as we approach our 10th lap. He's known for always being there towards the end, so that's another driver we'll look out for. Now Keith currently moving through, just past one of his own team cars, looking to get around the Lucid man. He's sitting in the 20th position. Big Man and Benjamin have both dropped. Full wide going into the corner again. But backed out of that situation.
You're going to be seeing a lot of that today.
Thor Gunderson has retaken the lead, with Connor Meyer falling behind with Bambura, Sanders, Eric Johnson, Aaron Douglas, Todd Castillo all follow.
Yeah, and the only car in that group that has won a race is the 36 of Sanders.
And even then, he looks like he is now starting to drop a little bit as well. Able to re-keep that momentum though. 72, definitely trying. We mentioned he just had that pole. Had a terrible race, bad start, lost a lot of positions, ended up getting involved in a wreck. What redemption to have him up here in second.
Yeah, last week was definitely not the week they were looking for, but
it was a very bad week for Ford.
Ford in a whole, other than the 12 for some reason of Gabron always seems to find his way up front as pretty much the leading Ford car of everybody. Other than Davis, of course, who is the points leader.
Davis always finds the right place to be at the right time, and he certainly shows that, and he's elected to have a certain amount of driving right now. Bambura, as you can see now, peeking towards the inside of Thor Gunderson, trying to make it mark.
Yeah, Ford hasn't won a race since Daytona, I believe.
They have not. It's just been a single win from Gabron. So this would be huge for them and Penske to be winning a race at a track that they own. Meyer's still there. He's going towards the outside. The outside has been very forgiving for these drivers today. They're able to keep a lot of momentum moving.
And there's Big Rick Johnson making his way up to the front.
Very quickly, too, that Dodge just dove straight into the corner, feeding off the draft from Thor Gunderson, previous teammate. 3 wide, 3 lanes back behind him. Mir picked a good line there. Tucked right underneath the 72's bumper. Pushing him now down the back straightaway. A ton of steam as he pushes the 72 to the lead. The 29 car has been great for drafting with today. He has to push 3 cars to the lead.
Yeah, he's just
making some allies out there.
Doing everything he can to stay up front and try and get that win.
You know, surprisingly enough, we are yet to have a failure.
Well, now you've probably gone and jinxed it.
Probably. We shall see. I do notice that the 00 now is a bit significantly off pace, as well as a 78 car. One of that is a Chevy, the other is a Western Auto Racing Dodge.
Yeah, last week Chevy had a lot of engine issues at Irwindale.
He did. They had multiple failures, about 3 in total.
The one car is starting to lose some ground now.
That's definitely a little bit off pace. 29 to 72 are kind of running away with this thing right now. Tim Salmon, always a guy that we never really talk about until he's up here at the front and racing, and here he is again, back in the top 5.
I think that was Lubricar's best decision, was to let the 91 run full time now, because he's been the best of the bunch.
He really has. He was an engineer for the team at the beginning of the year. When they announced that they were needing a third car, and he stepped up to the plate. I bet they had wished they let him race sooner, because the man moves into the third, almost the second spot entering this corner. He could have done wonders for this team already. The battle of the 72 and 29 has allowed the field to recatch them. Castillo there started second in this race. Douglas is back up here with Big Rick Johnson. Team Motorsports is actually up here as well.
Yeah, Salmon's definitely showing, though, that he deserves a car next season. Whether
Definitely.
it be, the 91 or maybe he swapped teams. Who knows?
Yeah, he is not re-signed with Lubricard Motorsports. Lubricard is not actually has anything registered for the following year, as we know for right now. But for one thing's for sure, it's Tim's sticking around whether it's in that car or not. How about the 72 leading this thing right now?
That's good for that team, who started on the pole last week, had such a rough race. Now, he started further back this week, and just to be leading it, he might get those halfway points.
Yeah, we're approaching really close to that, and then, as a matter of fact, on top of that, the 72 only led about 6 laps, and that's all from Daytona. So a little nice rebound with this type of racing here, as Salmon goes to the inside to pass him.
Yeah, Bambura is definitely he's a super speedway guy, and to have Auto Club race pretty much like a super speedway, like Daytona, like Talladega, it really plays into his strengths.
It really does. It's been great for the racetrack, and of course for you folks watching it at home. Again, with these guys now trying to fight for the position, Castillo's taking advantage of it again with the help of Connor Meyer right behind them. He is smart to use these cars to draft and move himself into position of being up front. He's playing this as if we are at Daytona, which is a really smart decision.
And it's nice to see Castillo still up front. Recently he starts up front and kind of fades to the back. But this race, he's been up front almost the whole time.
It's somebody who's trying to play around with the aerodynamic game again. That KFC Toyota, you saw him try and pull a slingshot leaving turn 4. It worked out for a second, but he had no draft help. 2 Dodges sneaking up into the mix of this. That's Douglas and Johnson. Had a ton of steam entering into that corner.
Yeah, I think that 29 really needs another Toyota up there to kind of help him out.
They do, and you see as he's kind of hurt leaving that corner, he has the 36, so they'll probably regain themselves and try and work on catching the field. Meanwhile, we have a ton of Dodges working on that Ford and Chevy leading the race. There are 5 Dodges behind them.
And there was an upset last week for Dodge, who had a car leading the race, and then a late race caution came out, and they ended up losing it. And that's pretty much...
Led 82, they led more than half that race, and they still didn't win.
And that's pretty much been their season this year. They run really well, they're almost about to get that win, and then something comes and stops them.
Maybe turn around what happened this. Titus gave a nice little bump. Douglas letting Titus and Salmon move right along through as they try to make those cars rotate the corner. Anderson working on Bambura, going down the front straightaway. Castillo to the outside with no draft help.
Now all those Dodges are going to start working together now.
A group of them there behind it. Let's return the favor from Meyer from the beginning of the race, getting him pushed down the back straightaway now. Got two tandem drafts going down the backstretch right now. 3 now.
And also entering now this kind of top portion of the field is the number 12 of Aaron Gabron.
Always there when he really needs to be. He's been pushing himself through.
As we're a couple of laps from halfway
through the 30, has moved up to the 33rd spot. He's just been kind of slowly progressing, but he's been slowly getting there.
It's going to be an interesting pit strategy, I'm sure, this coming up soon.
If we stay green through pits, it's really going to shake things up. That would allow this whole draft sequence to be broken up. And then there would just be a lead draft. It would just about change the whole dynamic of the race. Burr still leading with no help. Really, this is the best position and Gunnarsson wants to be. He's got 3 Dodges behind him, but they need to be able to catch up to him.
Make that 4 Dodges.
You hear drivers saying they are losing grip on these cars. Tires are nice and hot. As we say that, cars start again to pull down. That is Thor Gunnarsson making his first move. The question is, who will follow? On the short pit, Connor Meyer, Scott Vickers, Jonathan Rains, and Quinn Izo. These are the short pitters. This could be your new lead pack. Keep that in mind. The short pit usually has the advantage because this will take them right to the end if they don't get a caution. That's what they're counting on.
Yeah, that group definitely doesn't want a caution.
But this is the big gamble. Bumper leading around the racetrack. Takes himself off. And it selects to stay out of the only car staying out at the moment. The rest of the field is coming in. Ackwell stays out. It was also Evan Coward, Jay Langelier, Evan Campbell all stayed out on the racetrack.
Now Ryan DeLusso stayed out also.
Brett McPherson stayed out on the racetrack. This is the field. This is our big gamble right here. Do you want to take 2 tires, risk going the rest of the way? Wedge adjustment, what are you going to do? And is scored and going around that, he will get a lead lap. That's a bonus point for him, big help. Race from this pack off pit road. Here comes Kenny Bambura, Tim Salmon, Bigger Johnson, and like I said, for that short pit, it paid off. They will now have a big lead pack. We have a car spinning. Pit road, we do have an accident. Caution flag should be out. That is a 15 of David Walsh. That spun around. Let's see if we have our caution lights on first. We stayed green.
Yep, FARCA officials electing not to throw the caution flag out.
So Walsh may bring that car back around because of that. AAA is still scored as the leader. However, those cars just were now on pit road.
Everything should have cycled through.
That looks correctly. Yes, the 1 is currently the leader. Second place to him is Connor Meyer. They have a 2-second lead over Scott Vickers. These were the short hitters.
See, now they're hoping for no caution at all.
Two of our top manufacturers as far as consistency-wise goes is Dodge and Toyota. And they are both leading this race. Scott Vickers trying to help his teammate Tim Salmon as well, fellow manufacturer Dodge, trying to catch these two guys. Only way they could do this is if Meyer tries to go and pass Thor Gunnarsson, and they go side by side.
I like to look at the 77 now is running 6th in his second race.
Not bad at all. He's really taking good advantage of this, and he is caught up. Purdy has moved himself up to the 25th position. Driver took a big loss in that after a really bad pit stop. That was Aaron Douglas going back to the 27th position.
Also, the 95 of Quinn Izzo being in the top 10.
This rate 37 will catch, as well as the 91 and 77. We should have a little bit of a pack there of at least the top 6 cars at the rate they are going. That could be interesting towards the lap 40 mark. You should see these cars re-caught up to the leaders. .37 is hauling. He is trying to get up to his teammates and help him out as much as he can. It's been a while since Connor has seen victory lane, and I'm sure he would love to see it today here in California. Dodge, though, leading as strongly as they normally do. However, it's known that they are normally there at the final closing laps. Something always happens to a Thor. So many times has led these races.
And the 95, who was in the top 10, is now no longer in the top 10.
Wonder where he disappeared off to, considering he was on that cycle. He scored in the 11th position. That car's just got to be off base.
But a car making his way up now is the number 5 of J.R. Lemon.
All the way into the 8th position now. He's gotten around Todd Castile, currently working on the 62. Going for the lead now. This is where we said this could cause the field to recatch as Connor Meyer goes side by side with Thor Gunnarsson, going for the lead in his 29 Toyota. Scored around that time, it was him. Actually, no, just by a nose. Thor was able to hold on to the lead. Here is Scott Vickers. This is also going to allow Tim Salmon to recatch. They were about 3 seconds behind. This will definitely slow them up. Teammates working together. That Dodge all by himself. 3 wide.
And the more they battle, the faster that second group's going to catch up.
Only a 10th was gained there for Tim that time around. A push from the 29, he knows that's what that's going to cause. He knows he needs to wait until towards the end of the race because he doesn't want there to be a big pack, because that can cause more trouble as far as changes go. But Tim is catching. 37 dives through the 29 into the corner. He's trying to work himself away around. Scott Vickers to second place. Supreme Motorsports has been very dominant this year.
Yeah, their first season in FARCA, and they've already had 2 wins, a couple of poles, numerous top 5s and top 10s. They're one of the best new teams that we've seen in a while.
This would launch a third car of theirs into the chase. So this is a very important win. These 3 drivers up front have not won a race yet. As well as all the drivers, I believe, actually I think the entire top 10 is winless right now.
Except for the 62. The 62 does have a win.
Correct, a single win, but he's definitely further back in points. That time around, 91 made up 2 tenths. The question is, can this field recatch? Myers now almost a full second behind the 1 car. He will check out a bit, but then that will cause him to slow back up. Bambura moving around the 91 car. That car we know before has a ton of speed on a long run. How about Jaron Lemon? Good rebound for that 5 car.
Yeah, he's pretty far back in the points now, so he's definitely trying to get points, but I mean, he needs a win.
Yeah, at this point he is required on a win. One of those drivers who would absolutely need one.
And it's one of those Kyle Keith cars, and they have 3 wins this season, so he'd like to add a 4th.
They've been smart. There's that 3-car tandem. The drivers know that's the fastest way to get down the track. As they are now only 2.3 seconds at this rate, they could catch Thor Gunnarsson by the end of this race. This pack has been very solid. As you can see, they are slowly catching on to those top 3, who are also closing in on each other. Them battling themselves is only going to let them catch up. We should have a big pack by the end of this one. This could get interesting. I bet that's making Gunnarsson sweat a bit under that fire suit. He is 2 seconds away of potentially losing this race, as Vickers is just breathing down his throat.
He's trying to get his first win, and Dodge is trying to get their first win of the season.
It means any and everything to all of these drivers up front. Meyer kind of helping with that. Him being in the middle is allowing the 91 to draft. They are 1.9 off now, as we still have 12 laps to go.
And the 1 car is still throwing blocks from the 37.
He has every opportunity he gets. That aggressive driving, man, he is able to help him. 37 is looking high above the 1. Half a second gained on the 91. He has officially caught draft.
And he's bringing a whole slew of cars with him.
The entire field is about to catch the leaders. As we have 11 laps to go, Thor has got to be nervous leading this thing. He's got a fellow Dodge, though, coming up behind with a Team Motorsports car to relieve these Toyotas. They have caught. The question is can these leaders hold? Tim Salmon, winless, trying to prove. I mean, you being a team owner, especially with these Toyota guys, what have you got, anything that you would say to these guys?
Don't wreck it. Especially not now.
Too wide here. This will be a good distraction for Thor and a good chance for Connor to get around the 1 car. And Vickers to the lead. Meyer sweeps underneath Thor. Thor looks like he is having an issue with that car. Says to come on the radio, too tight, too tight. Tim Salmon creeping behind him. How about Jonathan Rains, man?
Yeah, the 77 car, he definitely played pit strategy well. I think he pitted with, the first group. And that really, really helped him. He's been able to hold up and run with these faster cars.
Definitely is. I think he was 18th. Hang on to one. Almost got spun by the 62. Good save. That would have ended it for these guys up front. We have a bottom and a high lane now. Jonathan Rains looking to the inside of Tim Salmon, going 3 wide for third. Barbera, the 3 cars behind him, getting dicey. These drivers all scrambling for positions towards the closing laps of this race. This has got to be the most exciting Auto Club race we've had.
About 15-ish cars in this pack, and they all have a chance to win it.
Hats off to Meyer. He's blocking like crazy for that fellow Toyota. However, Tim Salmon looking to the outside with a head full of steam, and side draft help from Thor Gunnarsson shoots to the outside and moves into the second spot. We have 7 laps to go. Dodge is still winless. 79 out of nowhere, also winless. More cars are catching as this front pack is running slower, battling, so this is just increasing more chances for wins.
And then
3 wide, 3 lanes back.
Sneaking up is the 36 of Joey Sanders, who does have a win, but he wants another one.
Burra trying Kyle Busch's line down on the apron. It worked for him. A 4 wide pass puts him back into the top 5. With some help from fellow Ford driver Aaron Gabron, these guys are just having at it, man. Contact there, 77 and the 12. They hold on. Gunnarsson pushing Salmon. We're coming to 5 laps to go. Salmon trying to go for the lead with a block thrown from Scott Vickers. Titus almost causes a wreck. He really backs out of the throttle. Good decision. 36 keeps the momentum going. He passes the 79 for third. That dodges to the outside of the Toyota, going for his first win, trying to. It's It's a problem with the 37. He is off pace. Something has failed on that car. Wow, while leading, he failed. Looks like maybe an engine or transmission. I'm not seeing any smoke, but that car certainly has stopped.
I mean, you think there's a chance could be out of gas?
He could. He could. He pitted early.
He was one of those cars that he pitted a lap early. There's a chance that they might have not got it full.
We may have multiple cars running very slow off pace, possibly out of gas. Salmon now leading this thing. Wow. I mean, a big upset for the 37 car, but a good gamble though. 37 also had an engine failure. It's the first engine failure from Dodge. Titus going for the lead now. A big push from Joey Sanders. Let Salmon hold on to that. We're still waiting for any word on the 37 car. Anything you're hearing from TRD?
Nothing as of yet.
91, he has got to be sweating. This is his first chance to get a win. He is holding that outside because he knew that's where he made the pass. He has got multiple Dodges who are all without a win. Two Manco Motorsports cars go to the inside working together. 36 is pushing the 91. 88 trying to throw the block, but the 91 is still there. Man, they are side by side.
And the 91 has some push and help with the 36.
36 though trying to go on his own. 91 trying to throw the block. What do you do in a situation like this? Just hold your line. Titus scored as the leader as they go across the stripe. 91 is going to fall off. This opens up to the 36 and the 79 as we have 2 laps to go. Titus leading this thing, man.
Out of nowhere.
There's still plenty enough time for a pass. He's going to lose the draft here very soon. Here comes Toyotas. They have flopped around. The 91 is pushing the 36 hard down the backstretch. Into the corner goes the 36. Definitely returned the favor to him.
Yeah, but you have to imagine that if, something happens where the 36 passes the 88, how happy Dodge is going to be about that.
They will not be because they are winless. We are on the last lap. Titus dives into the corner, holding the middle. He needs to come up and block the 36. He is doing that. 91 looking to the inside. We've seen cars practice for last lap passes throughout this entire race. I don't think we'll see one though, as Titus has a full head of steam. That big red Dodge. 36 though. 79 goes to the inside. Checkered flag is waving. Dodge finally finishes 1 and 2. Titus of Manco Motorsports gets Dodge's first win at Auto Club Speedway. He timed that perfectly.
Well, he had a little bit of help from the 37.
Yeah, definitely. The unfortunate failure of whatever happened to that car. And then the 36 and the 91 sure teamed up pretty well there at the end. Just not enough to catch back up to Titus. Honorable mentions. Mabura had a top 5. Meyer top 10.
Jonathan Rains with a top 10.
Yes, finished 9th. Gunnarsson did finish 9th. Peter Johnson finished 12th. Douglas fell back to the 21st position. Points leader Davis only finished 26th. Big Man finished 29th. A late race failure on that last lap. 2 cars, the 42 and 00 both pulled off. They had an engine failure on the 42 on the back straightaway. Another failure as well to the 00. That was 2 Chevy cars on the last lap.
And I'm hearing that the 37 did run out of gas and they just couldn't get it refired.
Very unfortunate for that. It looks like also may have been David Walsh there too. Toyotas tried their best to stretch it out on fuel.
Well, Walsh had that pit road incident.
Oh, that's right. My bad. Yeah, he had gotten spun out on the green flag pit stops. Unfortunate there to him, but wow, what do you have to say after that?
I can't wait for the chase because we're coming back over here.
That's right. We did have a little bit of a change up in the chase. We will no longer be we swapped out Bristol Motor Speedway and Charlotte. Moved those 2 races around to allow Auto Club Night Race to be in the chase after a fantastic race like this. It's definitely well needed. Closing words, do you have anything to say?
Congrats to Dodge. finally pulling it off, and then to do it in a 1-2 finish. And they were pretty dominant all race.
They sure were. I mean, Thor, he's got a win coming. He has to have a win coming. He's constantly on the pole, constantly in the top 5. So keep your eyes on that car, number 1 of Manco, and obviously Tim Salmon, again, finishing 2nd.
Now, he's another driver with a win coming soon.
With that, we will see you guys next weekend, and we hope to have more fantastic races like this, and we hope you guys all have a good night.